Hey everybody, welcome back to another 1993 Honda Prelude Si video. Let's get started with replacing this goofy antenna that doesn't fit the car and looks terrible. Stay tuned. All right, I picked up this direct replacement power antenna. I can't remember if it was eBay or Amazon. I think it was eBay. I'll put a link in the description, but you could easily search and find this. This is supposed to be a direct replacement for this vehicle, and I guess we shall see. I haven't investigated any of the wiring or anything, but I'm hoping it's all there. Even for right now, if it doesn't work, I don't care. I don't listen to the radio, but it's going to look a heck of a lot better. So let's get into the trunk and see what we're dealing with. All right, I'm going to start by removing, obviously, the jack housing, and I'll peel back this kind of carpet liner. And I'm hoping the wires have not been cut, and I'm hoping I can just easily remove that. So I don't expect too big of a deal. All right, well, removing the old antenna was actually really easy from the outside. And I'm just gonna go ahead and clean up this mating surface. Thankfully, it looks like they did not tape around this at any point when they refinished this car. So to get to it from the inside, still need to remove the rest of that, and hopefully the wiring and everything is back there. All right, just a couple minutes later, and I've got the old one out. And I found this just laying in there, not attached to anything, but I also found what I believe is the actual power source. And there's the end of the antenna. So I'm hoping that this will, like I said, be a pretty easy install. We're about to find out. All right, there's not really a lot of direction of how to put this in, but I can tell right now this silver part unscrews, which will separate this rubber top keeper, I guess, from the antenna base. And the rubber part will go on the outside while the antenna can be fished through the inside. The electrical part is pretty much a no-brainer. There's only two connectors and they're both there. But what I don't know is actually how to mount this. This did come with a bracket, kind of like an aftermarket version, but in here, there isn't really anything that I can see, of how to mount it. But I suppose, I don't know, maybe one of these brackets or something. I'm not sure. I guess we'll figure it out. All right, the instructions basically just say, install it in the same fashion the old one was installed, the factory one, but unfortunately I don't have the factory one, so I have no idea how it was supposed to be installed. But it did come with this bracket, which I kind of bent it in an L shape, and nearest I can tell, it actually is supposed to attach right there. And while this came with two screws, one for there, and I don't know what the other one's for, I will have to find my own hardware to attach it. So I don't even know if that's actually going to line up. I may end up drilling probably another hole if it doesn't line up, just to, kind of make this work, because this needs to be at a particular angle in there so that it cants back just a little bit when it's up. So, all right, I'll mess with this for a bit, see what we come up with. All right, actually, this doesn't line up as bad as I thought it would. I marked the center of the opening where I want this piece of rubber to kind of center, and this is just floating in there right now. But if we take a look in here, the bracket is actually right there, if you can see through there. So it should be okay. I may have to bend it just a bit to kind of get things to go together, and then just plug everything back in. But at the very least, I may have to kind of tweak this bracket. But at least it's not too far off. I do have some hardware. I don't know if it's going to be long enough to kind of reach through there, but I guess we'll have to give it a try. All right, I got this done. The escutcheon on the outside looks good. It's nice and solid. And on the inside, strangely, I had to end up using the hole where the antenna is supposed to go through, but that's not a problem. I had to use basically this plastic washer because the hole was too big. That's not going to be permanent, but that's what I had. And I didn't want to run to the store right now, but next time I go to the store, I'll get a big fat washer to put in there. So it's attached to the back with a nut, and it's plugged in. And I did turn on the stereo, and the antenna does not power up, but I suspect that aftermarket stereo, they may not have wired for the antenna trigger. So, but for now, I'm happy with that. So I may tack this on to the video where I replace the stereo with the OEM version. So stay tuned for that. All right, we're back. As you can see, I did get a little carried away last night. This all happened so quickly. I wanted to basically remove the old stereo, which I did, which was very simple. And I removed the center console there. It did have some previous screw holes in it for some cup holders. So I decided to take that out. I'm gonna refinish it and refinish the surround that goes around the stereo there. But the good news is the factory stereo that I have works perfectly, and the power antenna does go up and down. So I'll spare you the details. I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple parts painted, and we'll get this thing put back together. All right, you joined me out here in my dedicated paint booth, and I've got that sanded as best as possible, and I degreased this thing many times, took as much of the gloss off as I could. I'm gonna hit it with some adhesion promoter, and then I'm gonna hit it with some trim black, and that should look pretty good. As you can see, it's not very glossy. All right, I hit this with a coat of the adhesion promoter. Let this sit for a couple minutes, and then I will spray it black. So it should look really good. Okay, a couple light coats of the SEM trim black on here, and I'm very happy with the way it turned out. You can still kind of see the patches. I don't want to touch it, it's in the shade right now, but you know, anytime, this is a textured material and it's just never gonna match. I mean, you can't replicate the texture, but at least there are no, you know, eight little holes aren't there anymore. So I'll let this dry. I think I'm gonna also do the stereo surround just because this looks so good. So let me get that cleaned and we'll bring that out. All right, stereo surround's done. The ashtray's done. And this looks great. So I'll let this dry for a little bit, and then we can start the reassembly. I'm excited for that part, so stay tuned. One more quick thing. I decided I'm going to give this shift knob, which is plastic or rubber, a quick coat of this same paint. This is kind of shiny, it's worn, but I've cleaned it. I've cleaned in the grooves really well, degreased it. I'm gonna do the same process. I don't know how long this will last, but this is very easy to remove and, you know, give it another shot if I need it. So I'll get this done. Okay, and pardon my mess here on the worktop. I got this mounted. I had to dig through my collection and find a screw that would actually fit with the right thread pitch, and got that done. It is mounted, and this is ready to go back in the car so I can start the reassembly process. I just want to add this real quick. I brought this in the garage. I was getting ready to install it, and I just wasn't happy with where you could see the patches, because this is textured. And of course the patch wasn't textured. So I remembered I had some of this SEM texture coating from a different project, and I'll show you what I did. You just give it a couple little quick splatters over top and it makes those patches disappear. So just real quick like this. And that dries rather quickly. And then I will give it one more coat of the SEM Trim Black, let it dry, and then this will be good to go. You can, except maybe for one right there, you can't see those at all. So good product. I like this SEM stuff. You can find this on Amazon or eBay or pretty much anywhere. I mean, everybody uses this stuff except for this. I've never seen anybody use this before, but this has been very valuable, a lifesaver. So we'll go ahead and give this a quick coat. You can see that just blends right in. Yeah, that stuff is amazing. This looks great. I'll let this dry and we'll install it on the car.
Watching, sometimes you gotta pop out and show sort of.
Any other time I don't want music for copyright reasons, wouldn't be a problem. Anyway, this is all done. I am super happy with the way this turned out. And I do have my aux cord right here, which plugs into my iPhone so I can stream music. And this just goes basically underneath here and plugs into the back of that, I guess, I don't know what you call it, a dongle or an aux jack that uses the CD port on the back. So I would call this a win. Looks better, sounds good, just feels right. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, we'll catch you on the flip side.